Okay, so this is the first class of CFA level 3. So accordingly, I will spend some time in discussing about level 3 and how is it different from level 2. What is the status of people appearing in level 3, especially at SSEI and also across the globe. So you are aware that in level 3, the morning session, AM session, is a written exam, while the afternoon session is similar to level 2, ditto. Morning session is a written exam, afternoon session is the item set pattern. 10 item sets, the way you used to have in level 2. So I think there is no mentioning about the afternoon session. But the morning session, first time in the 3 levels of the CFA program, you have to write your answers. So that becomes a very great confusion area for people, and they always keep on struggling about it. The best guidance that I can give about it is today only. Then you may keep on repeating and asking me every 1 month or 2 months that how are we supposed to write in the morning session, and I will not reply that nicely ever. Okay, this is the nicest way that I will explain that how do you appear in the morning session. A typical student in India, as also at SSEI, we have all come from the same education system. And in our education system, what used to happen, we are accustomed to a paper in which it was written paper. Written both practical paper and theory papers, correct? All the papers that we have given, whether in BCom examinations or in any examination, if there are sums, we have to write and do the sums. If there are theory, we have to write the theory. So when you are talking about the morning paper AM session, let's be clear. Sir, in that paper, will we get only theory or even practical? Both. Can there be sums in the morning paper? Yes, be clear about it. So if you just imagine yourself solving an Indian examination practical problem. Which problem? Practical. The presentation is the same that we do in India. There is no issue at all. Okay? You obviously write and you do calculations, you explain. So there is no issue about a practical problem in the morning AM session. Whatever you do in India, that's accepted. Understood? The only difference which I cause is that my habit right from level 1 and level 2 is that you must have seen me so many times disrespecting and laughing over formulas. We have always, across level 1, level 2, not given respect to formulas at all. Always given respect to what? Understanding. Even if we have formulas for forward rate, we do it like bada wala factor by chota wala factor -1, rather than trying to mug up the way they write. Okay, the worst formula which I said was this only. Even in Black-Scholes model, although in level 2 there was no way to avoid the formula, but still we tried to interpret it as far as possible so that it is more retentive. The retention level is high. So about the practical, there is no issue. You just rest assured, if you know how to do the sum, you just do the sum, you will get the marks. So whether we have to write the notations which CFAI has used in our paper, no. If there is a sum which has a formula, there are some notations which are given in the core readings. Are you supposed to write those notations? Not at all. It is not necessary. Of course you can write if you are comfortable, but if you solve the sum without notations, you get full marks. Okay? When you will refer to the institute's answer, so please remember, level 1, level 2, just remember, there was an SSEI book given for each subject. There used to be multiple choice questions, and those multiple choice questions had solutions at the back. Whenever the question used to be practical, numbers oriented, usually we did not refer to that. No, you will acknowledge. We used to do it in a much efficient and easier manner via calc and via logic. I hope all of you will remember this. There would be very, very few questions we had to refer to the past answers, and whenever we used to it, we used to think that what have they done? They used to do it in such a sophisticated manner, which we ultimately used to focus on the numbers, and then we used to understand in our style. Okay, it is true with all of us because you are sitting over here. So I'm trying to say the same thing. Do not be confused later that, sir, I have done the practical, but the institute has done it in a sophisticated manner. Am I going to do it in that manner for the purpose of getting full marks? No. You can do it in the normal manner in the Indian style. Understood? So anybody illogically trying to adopt their pattern of solving the practical is then trying to not use our own comparative advantage. We are very, very good in solving practical. They cannot compete with us in that regard. Use your advantage in that. But our advantage is numbers. When we think with the numbers and logic, our brain runs faster. As soon as we think symbols and notations, our speed comes down, our efficiency comes down. Please, serious advice, do not try to go into that area, overburdening yourself that perhaps your answer will not be accepted. No. For example, in swap, we always draw a diagram. A, B, A is paying labor B. They may not be drawing the diagram. In FRA also, we do it with numbers, we never do it their style. So you are advised to please follow your style, get their answer, show all the calculations and get the answer. Okay? So we do not have a stress in that regard. So I'm clear about it. Anybody who will try to copy the institute in the practical will destroy his natural understanding. That's the problem. You will destroy your natural understanding. And why will you do that? Because maybe somebody will tell you that how will you get marks? This is not CA exam going on now, where you have to follow the CA institute, everything. No, not at all. Okay, you have to do this answer, they will respect the answer. Now comes the theory portion. In the theory portion, in India, the person who is going to check the paper, that person's level of competence is very, very low. You know, the person who's going to check the paper in India, when we submit the paper and somebody is checking, you can imagine who checks. Number one, he doesn't know English. Number two, he doesn't know the subject matter. Number three, even if he knows, we talk about exceptions, in that case, he doesn't have the time to devote to sincerely check the paper. All questions are in an open format. Explain the law of demand, 12 marks. Explain the law of demand, 12 marks. So what do? You have to keep on explaining. And then obviously that thing comes that if the person doesn't know the matter, if the person's English is not good, and if the person is not going to give time, so he's going to get an impression from your answer. How do you impress? Number one, top class English. So whoever student has good English, they have been exploiting Indian examinations by trying to impress that they know the answer even if they don't know. And you know that's possible. For all of us who have given the exam, it's possible to impress that I know the answer if you have some side idea about it. Correct? And the other person gets fooled because he doesn't know or he's not checking properly. Second point of impression is write big. Extra sheets. All of us have enjoyed that, taking extra sheets, sheet after sheet, sheet after sheet. That mentality is very, very bad when Indians appear for level 3. And I'm talking about Indians, maybe in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh also the same thing happens, I don't know. Okay, because neighborhood now. So knowledge spill over. So this is the biggest reason why Indians do not do very well in CFA level 3. When I say Indians, I also count class students. They do not do very well because if you have learned something for years, it's gone into your psyche now. How will it come out of the psyche? And suppose as a result of my saying, you really reinforce upon yourself that no, sir has said, I'll be very careful about it. I will not write too much. I will write to the point. Okay? Stuff like that. Then you will overburden yourself and start looking at the institute's answer. Obviously, where will you get the guidance? You look at the institute's answer, let me see how they are writing. Now the institute's suggested answers are answers prepared by a panel of experts sitting in a cozy room with coffee, with ample time, applied brain. You are going to give the examination in those 3 hours with stress of completing the paper. You can never ever write the answer to the level that the CFA Institute has written. Not possible. You cannot. And since you will realize it, while looking at their answer, you will realize it. You have studied 10 times, core readings, whatever readings, 50 times, still you are not able to imitate. So you will always feel bad. What's happening? Confidence is not coming. CFA Institute has made it clear that these are not the answers on the basis of which we are marking the students. We are not marking you based on these answers. But we are giving you these answers so that you can prepare. Because in the answers, many other aspects are also written which are not required in the answer. But they are writing that so that your portion gets revised. No? Do you remember that in level 1, level 2, how many times you used to say that please read the answers of the core? Because when you are reading that, you are getting so many side knowledge, which is very, very important. Because if you read my notes several times, it won't help. But if you read the answers, you made a mistake over there, or you corrected that answer. When you read that, now your knowledge gets more directly into you. The retention level is very high. Because you applied your brain into something, and then somebody is talking about that thing. Believe me, the retention level is very high. So read those answers for increasing your retention level, for revising the topic. Not for the purpose of considering that as a benchmark. L3 is filled up a benchmark. Because when we construct a portfolio, there will be a benchmark. No? So have you beaten the benchmark? We don't want to beat the benchmark. We don't want to replicate the benchmark. We want to underperform the benchmark. So the question comes that this particular person, aged 42 years, working in this particular organization, has 2 children, a wife who's also working, children age, tax status, existing wealth, needs, whether grandmother or whatever is there, for which medical expenses are needed to be provided. Okay, future aspirations, they want to go to Honolulu after 60, at what age they want to retire, this or that. Everything is given. Now they ask you a simple question. The ability to bear risk, is high, average or low? The ability to bear risk, ability, not willingness, is high, average or low? Okay? When they ask you, high, average or low are given, it's like multiple choice. Because high, average or low are given. In the multiple choice, you would have shaded the oval of the OMR. Over there, you will have to circle in the paper high. You will circle what? High, because according to you, ability to bear risk is high. By the side of it, there's a small box given, 2 justifications for your answer. You mark the high, besides it, there is a small box given, very small box, 2 justifications why you think ability to bear risk is high. The ability to bear risk is high because time horizon is long. What is long? Time horizon is long. No liquidity requirements. I'm saying an example. No liquidity requirements, or high wealth compared to needs. High wealth compared to needs. So you can take risk. Ability to bear risk is high. You do not have to explain. Ability to bear risk is high because time horizon is long. If there is greater time horizon, the portfolio will have the possibility of recovering from a fallen value. Why are you writing all this? He's asking you, ability to bear risk is high, medium or low. You said high. Justification, long time horizon. Why are you explaining? And then you're talking about paper chhut gaya. Sir, in the institute's answer, they've explained. Yes, they have. Because they want to give you the logic and to revise with you. So they have explained that long time horizon अगर है, तो portfolio नीचे जाके उठ सकता है, तो portfolio risk ले सकता है. They will explain. You like the explanation and you like to offload the explanation over there. Don't do it, please. One word answer, one phrase answer. There is no need to explain. Okay? When you know you're writing to the point, no need to explain. Of course, there could be some other question. When we practice, we'll see where that one word is not coming long time horizon. It needs that sentence. Maybe it will happen. We'll try to be as to the point as possible in the sentence that we dictate. Is the sentence got to be a complete sentence in terms of English language? Are you understanding? The sentence is never supposed to be complete in terms of English language. Okay? Never. Which means, do you remember that while dictating level 1, level 2 notes in class, many a times I start the dash style? This, this is required. Do not try to construct English language sentences, complete the sentence. No, try to write points. Okay? Of course, just for example, to communicate this, I gave you an example, na? Ability to bear risk. So the communication was so easy. So as we do more and more questions, then only you will understand more about it. Okay, at several instances. Now what I do in class for the purpose of attacking the AM session is that when we study a particular topic, of course we have to study. After studying, you may be aware, or if you are not aware, past papers of the morning AM session are available. CFA level 3 past papers of the morning AM session are available for the first time. Okay? So, suppose we pick up a morning paper of the topic that we are doing within the context of the syllabus, because if the author has changed, maybe the past paper, that portion is not relevant. But mostly it is. Mostly it is relevant. That is my responsibility to guide you what is relevant and what is not relevant. So accordingly what you do is that we pick up a past paper and we are now solving. So we are all reading the question because we have done the topic. We are reading the question, we are recalling what we have learnt, we are recalling or we are referring to the book that time, and we are trying to apply that to that particular write-up. Na? So why is, sorry I forgot to say, I should have mentioned, why is level 3 morning session written? Why is it not multiple choice? What was the problem? The problem is that in multiple choice questions, when 3 options are given, many a times, even though you don't know which is the answer, but by looking at the 3 options, you are able to guess the answer. Because you recognize that you did something of this sort, you recognize, and you are able to give the answer. This is level 3. Based on hinge, based on that recognition, how can they trust you? They are wanting you to recall the concepts and apply it to that situation. Please think about yourself 10 years later. 10 years later you will be working somewhere. And there your work requires you to take decisions. How do you take decision? Based on all the knowledge that you have learnt up till now and in practical life. You recall that knowledge and you apply that in that situation. It is a fact. It happens that way. Therefore, CFA examinations are considered to be so high quality because what you experience, they are able to design the papers in that way itself. They are sharing a situation. Okay, so it's recallability and application of the recallability. In level 1, level 2, it's more recognition, not recallability. You are able to recognize, yeah, I learned something of this type. I'm not sure, but I think this can be the answer. Okay, so they are wanting you to be able to recall and to apply, not reproduce. Recall and apply. Okay, you learned something, long time horizon, ability to bear risk is low. So when you are reading that, you are able to apply that, you are able to recall that and apply that. Okay. So, theory questions, answer need to be precise. If anybody takes an extra sheet, it is a big sin. Okay, it is a big sin. I don't know what is happening to that person. You cannot take an extra sheet. Is that allowed to be taken? Yes, it's allowed. You take as many sheets to communicate yourself, but you're going to leave the paper. If you ask people about their level 3 examinations, past candidates, mostly they will tell you that they left the AM paper, 1 question or 2 questions they could not finish. It is true of 90% of the candidates that AM paper does not get completed. Reason is that, is it lengthy? Yes, it is, I'm telling you. Deliberately it is made lengthy. It is very, very lengthy. And why is it made that way? Because what we used to get 1 marks multiple choice in level 1, over here it is of 3 marks or 4 marks. Yes, it is. Because it's written now. It is worth 1 marks only, it's 3 or 4 marks. So it's actually easy. It's actually easy. They don't want it to be easy. So they have lengthened the paper so that a person only who has studied nicely, practiced nicely will be able to complete the paper in time. A person who is shaky will not be able to complete the paper in time. Okay, so the difficulty of the AM session after having studied everything lies in lengthiness. It is a lengthy paper. Completion of the paper efficiently is a challenge in itself. Okay? When you prepare for level 3, and in fact that is true for all levels, but especially level 3, more of your time, say 70%, should go into practicing questions. 30% should go into preparing. 70% should go into practicing questions. What do I mean? I mean to say, since you are sitting in level 3, now believe me, if we start any topic right now, any topic from the syllabus, if I pick up, and I start with the question, I don't teach, I start with the question. It is not possible that you will say, I'm not understanding any damn thing. You will not say. You will be able to say that, no, it's weird, but I'm able to make out. Which means you know everything in level 3. You have an idea about everything in level 3 that is there. You are not zero. So whenever you feel like you have started studying now, and you are not feeling like reading the notes again, going through this, you want to start the questions, very good habit. I'm talking about generally your preparation. Suppose in November you wanted to revise something, in February you are revising something. Your mentality, let me not look at the notes, let me straight away get into the question, is a very good mentality. You are strongly helping yourself. You have to prevent your addiction to notes. Okay? If you are always addicted to notes, keeping the copy, revising it several times, that works in level 1. Because level 1, most of you had no base. Most of you whom I am teaching had no base. In fact, level 1, those people who have a base now, those people who have a base and they take tuitions from me at level 1, their single complaint is that, sir, the number of classes are very high. Those people who have a base, suppose a person who has completed his CA or partially completed CA and starts level 1, he likes my classes. He likes the way that I have not left anything, but he complains about the number of classes are very high, and he prefers that the notes were given to him so that he could watch the class at 1.5 speed or 1.7 speed, whatever. He doesn't want to write at that speed, because only by that he can reduce the number of classes. For many of you who had no base, that speed was very optimal. But for many people who had a base, especially out of Calcutta students, they get the notes xeroxed from students, we send it to them, and they prepare from there because they watch the class at 1.5, 1.7 speed of level 1. So, after teaching so much, I keep on introspecting as to what is going wrong, why the results are not, if it is suppose 52% or 55% of level 3 students pass globally, over here it should be 80%. Na? There should be just 2 students out of 10 who are perhaps failing. The reasons we'll talk about, and you know, but the remaining 8 should pass. So one of the reasons why it's happening is that people are not coming out of the level 1 mentality. They want that notes that way. Okay, of course you need something to refer. For example, if somebody becomes totally motivated as a result of today's lecture of mine in level 3 and starts studying from core readings like anything, okay, opens the core, studying, underlining, mentioning, making his own notes, once again, superb study. Ultimately it's too much. When you have to come back to it now, if you have prepared very brilliant your own notes, then it's okay. You can refer to your own notes. But you will never be able to revise the core again. Challenge, you can't. So why was level 1 a bit easier? Because my notes were more compact. They were more numerical. Okay, and you have written it in your own self. So therefore it is more convenient that way, I'll acknowledge. But here we have to take a bigger stride. We have to think about it that yes, we have to focus more on the questions. But we need something to refer. So therefore, I will dictate definitely, but very little. I will dictate very little. Where I'll dictate, I'll tell you. Where there is something differential I can produce. Okay, taking some examples, taking some numerical, okay, something which while teaching it, it's obvious that there's something I want to dictate. But otherwise, in every class, okay, because level 3 syllabus has totally changed, of course, you'll get some topics of the last batch, which is dictated in that manner. But otherwise, in every class, or every topic I should say, we will share a PPT slide with you. Now, I don't teach with PPT, and I don't want to teach with PPT. Why is the PPT shared with you? So that that reference point is there. So PPT for us is just for reference. You wanted to look what was there in this chapter? You can straight away look with the help of the PPT. Okay, this aspect was there together with sir's 3-page, 4-page notes. You look into it and you move into questions. We don't want you to waste your time into reading notes or anything. We want you to practice questions. Okay, so the more you practice, the more you are able to prepare nicely. Now, the 2 students out of 10 who will still fail, even after everything, the reason is that they are presumed that they have become CFA charter holder. Inside their heart, they know, ho gaya CFA. Or other things in life have become more important. Perhaps you have started working. So now you do not have the luxury of the student life. You've started working. So you don't have the luxury. Earlier, when you were a student, you had the luxury to balance your life well because you could give time to your friends, you could give time to other things, and at the same time you could give time to your studies. But if you are working, so obviously something will have to take a hit somewhere. So you will have to prioritize. You'll have to give it the full shot, level 3. If your lifestyle has changed and you have gone into business or working and all that, you need to understand that now you don't have the time. You will not get a leave for 2 months at the end. Of course, you can leave a job. That's a different thing. But otherwise, you won't get a leave. You will get a leave of 1 week or 2 weeks. That too, who entertains that you are going to sit for the CFA exam? Nobody entertains. They will not give you a leave. So because of which, you will have to study regularly right from now. Okay, if you are working, and if you are still a student, it's okay, enjoy. The same balance will be maintained. But if you disrespect it slightly, if you disrespect it, you will fail. And I mean it. If you disrespect, if you are not able to prepare nicely, you will not pass. Doesn't matter the result is 60%. You will be out of the 40%. Sorry for the language. Okay, but I'm saying this because I don't like it. Okay, so if you study like level 2, 100% pass. Like level 2 means not the strategy, the hard work. The strategy has to change. It has to be more practice. I'm talking about the hard work. If you study like level 2, you will definitely pass. But in level 2, if you were not working, you were at home. So like level 2 has to be modified in the total number of hours and the breakup of the hours. Then you will definitely pass. Level 2 effort is a superset for level 3. Yes, level 3 requires lower effort. The first example of lower effort is the number of classes are less. So one lower effort goes down. Remember how in level 1 we used to count the days and the classes. So many days are left, so many classes are left per day, 4 class, 3 class. The biggest tension of studying with me was the number of classes, how to complete it. You have all gone through that pain. That is not there at level 3, unless and until somebody starts in Feb, March. Then that's a different thing. Otherwise, somebody starting to right now, that tension is not there. Now, for those of you who are coming to classes over here live, and since level 3 syllabus has so much changed, so the number of live classes will be very high. You will get the same class at home after 4 days. The link will be shared. Number 1, you will have to resist the tendency to watch that class again. You should not watch that class again. Once again watching that class again, you are hurting yourself. Unless actually the topic did not go inside you, you did not understand, you should resist the temptation of watching the class again. I'm telling you, your thing is that along with the class, the PPT slide is shared with you. Go through the slide. Go through the class notes. I'm okay because I know if you go through the slide and the class notes, you will take very less time. You will finish recapping the topic, okay, in hardly 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. You will recap it, finish. The other time goes into what? Questions. Okay, the other time goes into questions. And if you do the questions, the same questions also, again and again, although we will leave no stones unturned in regard to providing you as number of questions as possible, but still level 1 satisfaction can never come now regarding the questions. Those number of questions are not there anyway. Still, if you redo the same questions which you have done now, you will acknowledge that you are forgetting very fast because there's a lot of theory. There's a lot of theory, and you know, when it comes to theory, our attention level is even questionable. So you will forget very fast what you are learning. So if you are practicing question again as a fresh question, you will get the stress. I'm not remembering, I did it earlier. So it's a very good thing if you are practicing the question again and again. Okay, sir, I have to mugged up the question. No issues. That question is not going to come. Don't worry. That question is not going to come. But what you have mugged up, you are saying, it means the entire thing of the question has gone inside your head. And if it is true, it has gone inside your head, you will definitely be able to apply it, recall and apply it in the new question. Okay? CFA Institute candidate resources got to be used like anything. There is no saying about those questions. Students of SSEI, and of course I think students all over India, they tend to feel that they are champions of PM session. Which session? PM session. Okay? मैंने PM session तो फाड़ दिए या फाड़ देंगे. ठीक है, whatever you say. बाहर आते आते भी. Now when they say that PM session, they have really done it well. The language that they want to say is they have done it very well compared to AM. Okay, when they say na PM session तो बहुत बढ़िया गया, they're actually wanting to say compared to the pathetic state जो AM गया, PM session बहुत बढ़िया गया. तो AM में यहाँ, PM में यहाँ, तो एवरेज तो यहाँ पहुंचा ना, हो सकता है you won't pass. तो AM को डिसेंट रखना पड़ेगा. AM को बहुत ज़्यादा इनडिसेंट करेंगे ना, उसके कंपेरेटिवली आपका PM गया वो नहीं बचा पाएगा. Gone are the days when I took the CFA L1 exam 2006 or 7. उस समय हम लोग के टाइम पे रिजल्ट था 75%. I've never seen such high result ever. Okay, अभी जो रिजल्ट है 50, 55, 57% होता है CFA level 3 का. Okay, and it is challenging. People fail, I'm telling you. Because I think Indians का percentage result अगर वैसे publish हो, जो कि geographically available नहीं है, वो दिखेगा कमती है as compared to global percentage. Reasons obvious. ठीक है, लेवल 3 में जाते जाते लाइफस्टाइल चेंज हो गया, एक प्रिजम्पशन आ गया कि हाँ यार हो जाएगा, सभी जन बोलते हैं लेवल 3 इजी है, बिकॉज लेवल 2 बहुत टफ था ना, तो आप उसको उतना इज्जत दो, आपका लेवल 3 पक्का हो जाएगा. बहुत थियरी है, बहुत थियरी है, बहुत थियरी है. देयर इज टू मच ऑफ थियरी ओवर हियर. ठीक है, इफ यू रिमेंबर द वर्स्ट ऑफ चैप्टर्स इन लेवल 1 लेवल 2 जहाँ थियरी होता था, ठीक है, से कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस टाइप, द स्टफ इज ऑफ दैट टाइप. ठीक है, बट व्हेन आई से दिस ना, आई मीन टू से, अभी क्या है, 2 बार आप लोग ने कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस कर ली और तीसरी बार करना ही नहीं है. सॉरी, नो कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस, नो FRA, नो QM, नो कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस, नो FRA, नो QM, करना ही नहीं है तीनों टॉपिक. बट कहीं ना कहीं अगर आप थोड़ा सा मेच्योर्ड वे में रियल लाइफ को देखते हो ना, ओके, थोड़ा बहुत जो भी ऑब्जर्व करते हो, यू विल फाइंड द बिगेस्ट थिंग दैट मूव्स stock markets are either policy announcements yesterday, okay, September Diwali, so policy announcements, or they are corporate frauds. Corporate frauds. It has become so common in the Indian equity market nowadays, corporate governance issue, and any issue comes and the stock price tanks like anything. So they're teaching us corporate governance so many times is for the fact that we may fight with D1 by RE minus G, तेरी कितना लिया, हमारी कितना लिया. But ultimately those corporate governance thing, who is the management, who is the promoter, ठीक है, how many independent members are there, how is decision making being done, how is the AGM, EGM being held, ठीक है, माने those are so important that they want you to understand that in real life you want to be a successful research analyst or portfolio manager, that thing has to be in your body. That are you doing just number crunching for the purpose of finding out which company is good, or you actually checking the integrity of the management, okay, and what they are up to. So you have to be looking at those aspects. So level 3, a female came to me just 1 hour before today, because 4 o'clock I had given the meeting time, and she's telling me, my friends are telling me that I need to do internship for 1 year, 1.5 years, then I'll get matured to appear for level 3. Good thoughts. There's no doubt about it. And then when she'll come after 1.5 years to give level 3, you know what she'll say? Sir, I have forgotten everything of L1, level 2. So how will I revise level 1, level 2? You said not they are all integrated. Yes, it is. Level 3 is most connected to level 1. The biggest connection of level 3 is with level 1. And the biggest proof of this statement is ethics. In level 1 ethics, there were two portions, ethics and GIPS. Ethics and GIPS. Also there was a chapter on what is ethics. Okay. In level 3 we have ethics and GIPS. And this time GIPS is GIPS. It's one complete study session. It's one complete study session. There was a female student doing chartered accountancy course. And she happened to be speaking to somebody else, her friend, and saying that I love GIPS. Now those are champion people. They learn books after books of theory. So GIPS is like this for them. But for us, it's a great pain. Obviously, you don't have to learn GIPS at all. You don't have to learn, but you have to do. Questions, questions, and questions. And when you do questions on GIPS, it will become interesting. You read GIPS, it's boring. Of course, you require some push to pick up the questions. But otherwise, whenever you feel, I'm not able to do GIPS, open questions and just start doing it. Look at the answer, you will start understanding. Sections are getting completed as a result of doing the questions. But if you ever feel like I'll read the entire GIPS, it's very difficult except for that female. Okay, it's very, very difficult. Okay, how many of us have actually prepared ethics by reading the handbook, as the CFA Institute says, and then doing it? No, we have always done it with the help of 2-page, 3-page notes, and then doing questions, 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 and then moving ahead. Even for the introduction class today, I have this slide framework over here so that you can refer to whatever I said, because I have included everything which I have said. So this is first of all a strange diagram in which I am trying to give you respect of level 3. Level 1 is just introduction. Oh. Level 2 is the depth, all the effort. Level 3 is the output you show to the world. The world will not be able to look at the depth. The world will be able to look at the output. If you are going to be having a great financial career in future, it has to be on account of level 3. Because level 3 is making you presentable. Okay? If you are not able to do level 3 nicely, you will never be able to get a very good career in finance. I'm not saying your career will not start. You will definitely get a job. Okay, but your career will not push up because you will not be presentable. There's a lot of stuff in level 3 which is there in the media every day. Every presentable person, when you listen to him and you get impressed, na kya bola hai? ठीक है? That person is speaking about level 3 stuff, I'm telling you. Okay, every person, you listen to some financial news and somebody is talking about some stock and you are really getting impressed about it and you relate that stuff to level 3, you will find it's level 3 stuff, 100%. Okay? It is that stuff that we have in level 3. So it's going to make you presentable, you're going to shoot up the ladder in the corporate circles, you're going to really shoot up if you do level 3 nicely. Okay? That should be your motivation. That मेरे को किस लेवल पे अपना फ्यूचर करियर बनाना है. अगर मेरे को हाई लेवल पे जाना है, मेरे को लेवल 3 को बहुत अच्छे से करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? ये तो परसेंटेजेस है. 3 टॉपिक्स आर मिसिंग. QM, FRA, corporate finance. The last topic is eating away all their percentages. What is that? Portfolio management. Okay, portfolio management. तो मैंने टॉपिक नंबर 1 में लिखा है एथिक्स इंक्लूडिंग गिप्स. एथिक्स में वही है जो L1 में था. द स्टैंडर्ड्स, देयर एप्लीकेशंस, वही है. उसके अलावा एक प्रोफेशनलिज्म पे दिया हुआ है, छोटा सा चीज़ है, और एक एसेट मैनेजर कोड है. ठीक है? दे आर स्मॉल, बिलीव मी, इट्स एक्चुअली लेवल 1 एथिक्स एंड गिप्स. एंड गिप्स के लिए भी लेवल 1 का गिप्स बहुत 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 ज़्यादा हेल्पफुल है. कितने बार मैंने देख लिया जहाँ पे If you knew level 1 का गिप्स, you could have attempted all the questions. ठीक है? तो एथिक्स में ज़्यादा टेंशन नहीं है, ठीक है? लेवल 1 का है. अगर कोई अभी से भी प्रिपेयर करना चाहे चालू कर सकता है. ऑल्दो हमेशा अपना रिकमेंडेशन रहता था, अपना याद है कि एथिक्स और गिप्स कब करते हैं? लास्ट में. अभी मैं डर के लास्ट पे नहीं बोलता हूँ, गिप्स से डर के. क्या पता आप छोड़ दो. इस बार लोग बहुत सारे जो छोड़ के गए थे गिप्स, क्योंकि 2-3 बार लॉटरी लगा हुआ है लोगों का, 2 बार लगातार, जहाँ पे ये सेट ऑफ पीपल ने गिप्स छोड़ा है, ये सेट ऑफ पीपल गिप्स किए हैं. ठीक है ना? एग्जाम में मिले, गिप्स आया ही नहीं 1 नंबर का, और ये लोग बोले और कर, और ये दुखी हो रहे हैं. इतने बार ये हो गया ना, इतने बार कि ये बाजार में बात फैल गए. गिप्स आता तो है नहीं, फालतू में इतना एफर्ट 20 घंटे 30 घंटे का छोड़ना, देख लेंगे. आई अंडरस्टैंडिंग? तो उस केस में इस बार गिप्स एएम सेशन में आया. किस में आया? एएम. मैंने ये नाइटमेयर होता था लोगों के लिए कि पीएम में आया तब तो ठीक है, ऑप्शन देख के समझ जाएंगे. एएम में आया तो लिखेंगे कैसे? एट एएम सेशन में आ गए. वी ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू से कि क्या पता, because the CFA should understands everything, the instinct of the person कि where is he playing across. आप टेक्निकल एनालिसिस लगा दें अपने. इस बार आ गया, अब तो आएगा ही नहीं, बिकॉज एक बार आते 2-3 बार नहीं आते. डू यू वॉन्ट टू टेक द रिस्क? योर थिंग. आई एम टेलिंग यू, गिप्स इज ईजी प्रोवाइडेड क्वेश्चंस के साथ करें. किसके साथ? क्वेश्चंस के साथ. ठीक है? पहले एक बार मैंने 2nd फ्लोर वाले रूम में गिप्स पढ़ाया था. उसके बाद मैंने अभी रिसेंटली आई थिंक 2016 या 17 में गिप्स वापस से पढ़ाया. ये जो 2017 में मैंने गिप्स पढ़ाया, ठीक है, दैट वाज टॉप क्लास लेवल 1 में. बहुत 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 ज़्यादा बढ़िया, मैंने उससे बढ़िया कुछ हो नहीं सकता है. आई एम इम्प्रेस्ड अबाउट द क्लास. ठीक है ना? कितना ज़्यादा बढ़िया कैसे पढ़ा दिया. वो वाली क्लास जरूर शेयर करते हैं आप लोग के साथ कि भाई वहाँ पहुँच जा तुम. ठीक है? बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़िया कराए हुए. उसके बाद एक्स्ट्रा का बात करेंगे. ठीक है ना? तो चालू करने को घर पे वो गिप्स वाला जो L1 का क्लास शेयर किया जाएगा, वो शेयर करके, वो देख के चालू कर सकते हैं गिप्स का क्वेश्चन डायरेक्टली. ऑफकोर्स बहुत सारा नया चीज़ होगा, बट आप जब क्वेश्चंस करोगे तो आपका मकसद क्या होगा? मैं क्वेश्चन से सीखने वाला हूँ ना, जो लिखा है वो आंसर. मैं थोड़ी अपने आप को टेस्ट कर रहा हूँ. इफ़ यू हैव दिस मेंटालिटी यू कैन स्टार्ट विद इट. आई विल नॉट रिकमेंड लिसनिंग टू माई, मैंने जो लोग खासकर मेरे से पढ़े हुए हैं, listening to my level 1 videos of ethics once again for the purpose of preparing ethics of level 3. Not required, believe me. Stupendous waste of time. थोड़ा सा कॉपी में 2-4-5 पेज का नोट्स लिखा हुआ होगा, उसको आप पढ़ सकते हो, बट मेरा क्लासेस L1 का फिर से सुनना नॉट रिकमेंडेड. कोई स्टूडेंट पहली बार लेवल 3 क्लास मेरे से ले रहे हैं और हो सकता है वो सुनना चाहे, वो सुन सकता है, बिकॉज L1 का एथिक्स बहुत ड्रैग करके कराया गया था ना. इट्स अ टू मच वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम. तो आई थिंक इट्स नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. गिप्स की एक्स्ट्रा क्लासेस लेवल 3 की वो अपने लाइव लेंगे. ठीक है ना? इकोनॉमिक्स. इकोनॉमिक्स में कैपिटल मार्केट एक्सपेक्टेशंस है. क्या है? कैपिटल मार्केट एक्सपेक्टेशंस, CME. तो कैपिटल मार्केट एक्सपेक्टेशंस तो अपने हमेशा से बात करते थे L1 L2 में. इफ यू वांट टू कंस्ट्रक्ट अ पोर्टफोलियो एसेट एलोकेशन, then in that case you have to feed into the optimizer ER of each asset class, SD of each asset class, correlation between every pair. You require this, na? Expected return of each asset class, SD of each asset class, correlation between each pair. Then the optimizer will tell us that tangency point between the highest possible indifference curve and the efficient frontier. है ना? So where would the ER, sigma and correlation come from? Economics. So they taught us level 1, level 2 economics for the purpose of generating capital market expectations at level 3. ER, sigma and correlation. Okay? Very, very good chapter. And people do not always like this chapter. Why? Because when people generate expected return, SD and correlation in real life, they need not necessarily do it with the help of some formulas. They can do it with the help of their intellect. I believe इस asset का return next year इतना होगा. Uska belief is based on his body understanding. It's theoretical, maybe, and it may be correct. Whereas you may like to forecast everything with the help of maths, some formula, RF plus RM minus RF into beta, ER. So it's not going to happen every time like that. Now, of course, RF plus RM minus RF into beta is also there. Multi-factor models are also there, as we used to happen in level 2. But there are other theoretical things there. There are other model inputs there. Which models are there? Historical model, futuristic models, discussion about so many models. Remember equity first chapter, level 2, first or second chapter, where we had a lot of talk about RM minus RF, what to take, geometric mean, arithmetic mean. Are you remembering? Stationarity. There was a chapter in level 2. We used to talk about equity market risk premium, RM minus RF, how to take. Okay? So economics, CME is all about that. The chapter has changed, author has changed. New reading hai, because some other author has written the chapter more brilliantly. So there are 2 readings in economics, new one. We have to do it live. Equity investments. Equity investments, they chose a very, very good author last year, who has written equity research as it is taking place right now in the world. It is taking place with the help of machine learning and algos. Equity research is taking place with the help of machine learning and algos, with the help of new types of tools not encountered earlier. They've taken that author. Obviously, they were not supposed to change it. They have not changed it. Equity last year remains the same. You have the videos to be done at home. I may take a revision class of the same. Okay? The reading is challenging. It's difficult. Okay? The reading is not easy. It's very, very theoretical. Fixed income. They took a brilliant author last time. The syllabus was changed last time. And they are continuing with him this time. Fixed income is the toughest brain-wise. Okay, what level of brain? All level of brain. Some people will enjoy it like anything. The level of discussion. Equity is a bit drag. Fixed income is very, very interesting, but it's difficult. Once again, the classes are there. Last time the reading was so complicated that I had to share Excel sheet, okay, on the output which was communicated. There were big examples taken. I had shown everything on Excel sheet, okay. In between those Excel sheet, there was a formula. A question came from that formula in this AM session. Unethical comment by me, I should not have shared. If the CFA Institute complains, I'll say sorry. So I meant to say that the Excel sheet is important. You have to go through it nicely. Ideally, though, a student in class prepared the Excel sheet for me with my guidance. You should also prepare that at home. Right now, the time is there. You can do it. So the topics that you should start at home right now, most important thing, fixed income, equity. Fixed income and equity. Fixed income will be interesting, equity will be boring. So one interesting, one boring. If you can complete fixed income and equity by October end or by mid-November, brilliant. Okay, apart from whatever topic I will start in class, of course. I'll start some other topic now. So fixed income and equity you can start at home. Advise, okay, fixed income and equity you start at home. Derivatives, brilliant stuff. Not the sidey stuff of level 2. Level 2 was very bad, especially the options part. The 10 interpretations given of every formula. Okay. This time in level 2, I'm going to teach that chapter again, valuation of contingent claims. And I will try to do more justice with it. Let's see what happens. But derivatives, level 3 is beautiful. It is what you apply in real life. The reading has changed, the author has changed. What changed? It has become less as compared to what it was. Okay? So level 3 derivatives this time is easier than 2019. So for a person who is repeating, it was a superset what you did. It is a subset now. It's become easier. Some parts have been removed. Derivatives also contains currency, also contains currency, because level 3, they are assuming that you are a global fund manager. They are assuming. So they are taking you to that pedestal. Global fund manager. Okay? Goldman Sachs, you are the portfolio manager. So you have to look at the currency aspect. Before the announcement yesterday, Indian rupee, it depreciated from levels of 67, 68 to 72. One of the reasons why FIIs have been so aggressively selling in India is because they don't have confidence on rupee strengthening. So even if they chose the best of stock over here and rupee depreciates, they will lose, no? Because their return has two components, return on the asset and return on the currency, and the currency is going down. Okay? So there's a lot of talk about how currency is managed when you invest internationally. What do you do with currency? Strategically, what do you do? Tactically, what do you do? IPS, what does it allow? Okay, how is currency exposure tackled in an international portfolio? They're not teaching us export-import hedging over here. You exported goods, dollar falls, you lose. No, it's portfolio management. You have invested abroad, how do you tackle the currency exposure? Do you fully hedge? Do you partially hedge? Do you play with it? Okay. So derivatives, I said the reading has changed. Currency reading has not changed. However, I don't know why, given the feedback of people, the currency portion, they have always struggled in the last 2-3 years, I've been seeing. Therefore, I've decided that I'll take the currency fresh. In fact, our first topic in level 3 will be currency. Okay, we'll start with currency, then move into derivatives. Okay, start with currency, move into derivatives. Because derivatives we have to do. It's a new author. So although I can say is a subset, that does not mean I can share the superset class with you. Because we have to teach and study according to the new author. Alternate investment, huge focus on hedge fund. Because hedge fund was not there in level 2, remember? In level 2, hedge fund was not there. Studied by you in level 1. Huge focus on hedge fund, of course private equity and all that are there. In fact, you must have, if you are connected with a lot of news and all, which you should be at this level, you should be concerned about your career. So some indecent guy, I will say indecent because the way he spoke was very indecent, had put up a video around 8 months ago speaking about the fact that CFA is gone, rest in peace. It's a course gone, anybody who's doing CFA, no future. Why? Because he had some insider information about the fact that Goldman or other investment banks are going to fire, are going to hive off many investment banking jobs. Okay, mostly the back office, as in the, not the front office, the back office. So he was saying that, what does the CFA program boast of? You'll become an investment banker, IB. People, there are many students who in their dream imagine IB, I want to become an investment banker. Okay. And it's a fact that investment banking jobs are going down. Investment banking is a profession which is having a negative growth. However, there are many other areas in finance which are growing up, most prominent private equity and startup. There's a lot of work, employment which is taking place in private equity and startup, and obviously equity research and portfolio management are definitely there. So I mean to say, alternate investments, once again the thrust on private equity and startup, that's brilliant. You learned one time private equity at level 2, this time you learn it in a more matured level, and then you are straight away the perfect person to get a job in private equity. Okay? You know what type of jobs you get in private equity? 2 types. Either you get a job in a private equity fund, and that fund is trying to look at opportunities to invest. Opportunities to invest. Okay? You know, my habit is to talk very personal while teaching in terms of examples which I take. So we have that concern, a separate entity by the name of ULearn, which is delivering classes of various subjects in finance out of Calcutta. And that ULearn may seek funding. Okay, after showing the last 3 years performance, the growth, and what plans we have, why do we require funds? So it approaches a private equity fund, and the private equity fund, you are working in that fund. You will have to analyze, you learn that should investment be made, because there are other market portals also. Should invested, what is so special about it? Okay, what growth can we see? What are the vision? Who is running the firm? So a number of estimates. What amount are they asking? What sort of dilution are they going to do? Suppose we ask for 20 crores for a 10% stake. That means we are trying to say the ULAN is worth 200 crores after the investment of 20 crores. Is that worth it or not? It's big time. People who are working in private equity, some of them whom I sometimes talk to, they tell me, some of them only CAs, but very, very intelligent, 2011 passed out. They tell me that sir, सुबह से रात तक जो करते हैं वो फाइनेंस ही करते हैं. DCF, present value, P multiple, PS multiple, valuation based on this, that. But apart from all this, it's not formula stuff. किससे DCF हम लोग को भी आते हैं, हम भी कर पाएंगे. It's not about that. It's about all the hard negotiations and the other qualitative understanding that goes into rather than the formulas. Okay, very high level of maturity is required. You got to start reading general stuff more and more. You should read. If you're not reading, you're not doing good to yourself. Is it good for level 3? Yes, it is good. And in fact, you should think beyond level 3 right now. Okay, that is the only passion that can upgrade your levels. So alternative investment is hedge fund. And the second type of job, which I was saying, private equity, is in a boutique investment banking firm, which is basically trying to act as an intermediary between ULAN and private equity fund. You understanding? So there's a boutique firm, it comes across ULAN, it will act as an intermediary, dalali, to that investment bank and earn a commission, because it found that both sides say it will earn commission. Okay, so two types of jobs are there. Portfolio management, what do we have in portfolio management? What are the 3 steps in portfolio management? Planning, execution, feedback. So all the execution stuff is there. All the feedback, performance evaluation, monitoring, rebalancing is there. Execution, implementation, how do you trade? How do you minimize trading cost is there. Apart from that, you have to prepare IPS of individuals. You have to prepare IPS for what? Institutions. So in the AM session, you normally get 2 or 3 IPS. Say 2 individuals, 1 institution, 100 marks. 1 IPS 40 marks, another IPS 30 marks, another IPS 30 marks. So we have to prepare the IPS. For the first time, perhaps in 15-20 years, the IPS chapter has changed. We never used to think that the IPS chapter can ever change. We used to live and die in RRTTLLU. RRTTLLU. Okay, they've changed the IPS chapter. Their focus this time has changed. They've come out of that RRTTLLU. Okay, they've written new readings, the way the industry is running right now, the way in which individuals' IPS is being crafted right now. So it's a new reading for the first time. Of course, other chapters in private wealth management have remained the same. When I say private wealth management, I mean to say wealth management for individual investors. It has an IPS chapter new. It has a chapter on taxes, because we got to look at your post-tax return, RRTTLLU, also had the tax component, the entire chapter on that. Estate planning for the biggies, the Bachchans, when they will die, how will they plan for their estate getting distributed? Whether Aishwarya will get something or not. Okay. So, estate planning for the super rich. There's a chapter on that. Concentrated single asset position. Concentrated single asset position. Any Indian promoter, be it Mukesh Ambani, most of his wealth is in Reliance Industries. If we do a pie chart of his wealth, a major portion will be in Reliance Industries. That's concentrated. Okay? So he may feel like to diversify, na? Or we should not have taken his example, because he's like in a different level altogether. So normal Indian promoters have 90% of their wealth either in their residence or in their business. So at some times they may feel that I got to just divest, I got to come out of it and Diversify my wealth. How do you do it? Concentrated single asset position. Risk management for individuals. We people are family. If you think from a family perspective, your family is putting some money into LIC, life insurance, some into health insurance, some into property and casualty insurance, some into PPF, some into bonds, some into equity. Every household does risk management. Yes, every person does. Risk management for individuals, sleep companies, risk management for us. Very good chapter given. That chapter prepares you for guiding some individual who wants advice. How should he go about managing his wealth and investments? Risk management for individuals. All these chapters have remained the same, no changes. So all the past videos are there, only the IPS chapter has changed. Portfolio management for institutional investors. You know what are the institutional investors? Pension, most important. Endowment, foundation. Banks, insurance companies. Okay, these are the institutional investors. How do we do IPS for them? New chapter introduced. They have left the old author. Portfolio management for institutional investor, the author has changed. New chapter on investment manager selection. Investment manager selection means if you are a global fund top CEO, okay, of Templeton Asset Management Company, CEO, you do choose a manager for small cap equity investment in India because you are running so many mutual funds in India. So there's a manager for small cap equity fund in India. In fact, there are multiple managers for mid cap equity in India, for large cap equity in India, for fixed income in India, for GSEC in India. So they may be having around 15-20 managers in India. How do they choose managers? So all of you are the potential candidates for becoming small cap equity manager in India. So all of you are holding that placard. I specialize in small cap equity, India. When I say, sorry, there was a wrong tone in which I spoke. When I say manager, manager is not a manager, it's a firm. When I say a manager, manager is not a manager, it's a firm. Management firm will be hired to manage small cap equity in India. Okay? So whom should we hire? How many research analysts you have? I'll see. What experience they have? I'll see. What is your past performance? I'll see. Past performance GIPS. How many investment managers you have? Okay? Within them, they are CFA charter holders. Good. But if you write that unethical, standard 7, you don't boast of the fact that your firm has a number of CFAs. Yes, you can factually state that. What are your processes? You do top-down investment or bottom-up? You do fundamental or you do technical? What are the tools you use? So a number of what fees you charge? You do active or passive well? What are you good at? What models are you using for the purpose of investments? And then I will decide now which manager to choose. So how do we decide upon the investment manager? There's a chapter on that because very important. The chapter on trade execution. How do you execute trade? If somebody tells you buy 5 lakh shares of a mid-cap company, you're a brokerage house, you got the order to buy 5 lakh shares of a mid-cap company. How do you buy 5 lakh shares of a mid-cap company whose average trading volume is 2 lakh shares? It's a mammoth task. Earlier, you used to consult some other broker who wants to sell the same shares, and then you are used to punch orders. 1 lakh shares buy, sell, same time it's punched. And the order gets executed. Recently, SEBI has come out with some guidelines against this punching going on. This punching business you're going on, it was a good business for brokerage houses. Because on 1 lakh shares, you are earning the dalali. So a lot of manipulation was also going on. SEBI has changed the guidelines. I just read it somewhere, but I'm not remembering. Wherein morning trade It has to be directly done by those who want to sell, those who want to buy. The broker gone. His fees are gone. Whatever it is, I was trying to say best execution. Okay, how do we execute to ensure that the opportunity cost and the, what was that? Impact cost is minimized. Remember, opportunity cost. If I buy slow, maybe the price will go up and I lose the opportunity. Impact cost, if I buy strongly, due to me the price went up, I bought at a higher price. You remember market order, limit order. So what order should we put? There are algos that look at the speed of the order and then they place the order. They split the 5 lakh into parts and they trade. Algo trading. We had it at level 2 now. Now it is removed in level 2. Other topic has been introduced. Performance evaluation. How do we carry out performance evaluation of the fund manager? That's also new reading. So portfolio management, only 2 old readings, sorry. The old readings are taxes, estate planning, risk management for individuals, concentrated single asset position. Okay, those are old readings. And rest others are new readings. Never ever in the history of the CFA Institute examinations have so much of change taken place at one level. Never. Although it's a special year of CFA level 3. And the institute will do very well if it offloads a number of questions new constructed by them on the candidate resources. We expect that to happen, then only the students can prepare well. Otherwise what I'll do is that wherever I find that the old authors' questions are also relevant, I will share the old author's question with you, wherever I find it. For example, in derivatives, it's true. Okay, so I will share those questions with you. Just to go through the slides again. There are 6 books that we have. You may organize your preparation book-wise if you want. 6 books as in the CFA Institute books. There are 6 books that they have. Book 1 is on ethics and GIPS. Book 2 is on CME and behavioral finance. I forgot. Behavioral finance. We had some idea about it, no? Behavioral finance. That means which believes that markets are not perfect, investors are not rational, they are normal. When people trade, psychology comes into play. All the psychology, behavioral finance. That psychology has a lot of role to play. You did it in level 1. Things like loss aversion bias. Okay, we are not risk averse, we are what? Loss averse. When there are losses, we don't cut them. When there are profits, we immediately book them. So we always have big losses, small profits, retail investor mentality. Book 3, derivatives, currency risk management and asset allocation. Asset allocation has not changed. So when I was teaching last year, I was teaching fixed income and asset allocation at the same time. What? Fixed income, asset allocation. So if you want to find consistency to fixed income and asset allocation, I taught at the same time. But still I believe fixed income and equity is the best choice to start with. You are getting the option to do what at home? Fixed income, equity, asset allocation, behavioral finance. Okay, these are the topics which have been given to you. Book 4, fixed income, equity, unchanged. Book 5, private wealth management and alternate investment. The alternate investment is totally new. Private wealth management, only 1 chapter is new, which is that IPS chapter. Book 6, portfolio management for institutional investors, performance evaluation, trade strategy and execution, investment manager selection and case studies. Yeah, they've introduced 2 case studies this time. This is the first time case study is there. What is a case study? A case study is a summary of everything you have learned from book 1 to book 5. Everything into a single case study. One for individuals, one for institution. So it's not that the case study will come in the exam. It will just, I think, enlarge your mind of recalling and applying, which I'm keeping on repeating. Recall, apply, recall, apply. What you learned, can you recall? Can you apply it right now? That's the point. Difference between level 2 and level 3, I've spoken all about it, okay? So, I've included a lot of slides on morning session. Everything I spoke in the beginning now. Morning session, okay? Look what I've written in the second bullet. If you have to take extra sheets as we do in the Indian examinations, RIP. Okay, because notes have been prepared by me. So I've written exactly what I felt. If the question requires 2 justifications, 2 reasons why high ability to take risk, do not give more than 2. Because you are confused, you will give 5. They will not search which 2 are correct. They will just check the first 2. If you feel they are bad, yes, they are bad. If you're writing 5, God knows why you're writing. They will not check which 2 are correct out of the 5 that you have written. Yeah, I've seen something, when I'm solving questions in class, now how do I solve? We discuss and we keep on discussing. We take everybody's view. Yeah, you want to say something, please say. You want to say something. And some people feel that there's a time wastage going on. I'm being realistic. I'm discussing why, because what thoughts will come into your mind. You have also done the chapter, no? Please speak out what you are saying. And many a times, most of the answers are coming from what you all are saying. Some people don't like this. They feel, why is he discussing? He should directly dictate. We have sat over here, why? A question, write down the answer. So I'll discuss a lot. If somebody believes there's a time wastage, yeah, it is a time wastage. Nobody can help your mentality then. Most people are not able to complete the AM session. This is on account of lack of practice. People seem to be having an implicit assumption that they have already completed CFA all levels since they have passed CFA level 2. Hence they put less effort. Even the effort they put in is just in listening to lectures rather than practicing a lot of questions. That's the problem. You have to practice. Number of classes in level 3 are significantly less than level 1 and level 2. Utilize the time to practice more questions. A student who did not pass this time. Pathetic. Can you see? Can somebody tell me what is the meaning in the results of that sky blue area? You've all got the results. Now what is the meaning of that sky blue area which is there? Lower limit, upper limit. The lower limit, upper limit that we make, acceptance region. That sky blue area is that. They mean to say that if you appeared in the exam and you got a particular score, percentile, which is the deep blue line, of course they do understand that on a particular day in the exam, a person is exposed to a number of risks, and maybe you did not perform to your potential, or you performed more than your potential. So they try to guess that your marks are not the blue line. Your marks are the blue line plus minus something. You understand? They are very, very fair. They are trying to say on that day, yes, you were not good. It's okay. You could have been a little better. So we'll consider that you could have scored, but even the sky blue line is not touching the minimum passing score. Even the sky blue line is not touching the minimum passing score. It's a pathetic performance, na? Deeper into it we go, look at the topics. Such type of results are also there in level 2. Such type of results are also there in level 2. Now the last score. Essay separate score, item set separate score. Can you see this? Essay separate score, item set separate score. In the essay, the dash 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 dark blue line is the 90th percentile score of all candidates, which was less than 70%. Essay is so difficult, the AM session, that people who are the 90th percentile are not able to score 70% of 180 points. Are you getting it? Which means if you are getting scores like 100 plus in the morning session, that is very good. You are among the top percentile. I hope you are clear. It is 90th percentile dotted, deep blue line. It is just below the 70%. That 70% written is percent, not percentile. Okay? But look at the item set. Where is the 90 percentile? Way above the 70%. In the PM session, everybody does good. So if you have done good, nothing to boast of. What is the ... line? 10th percentile score of all candidates, it is above 50%. Which means all the candidates who appeared for the exam, almost everybody scored more than 50% marks in the PM session. Understood? So what level of competence is required in PM when you are saying my paper was good? Did you get all the questions correct? Then speak about it. Okay? A candidate who passed. Minimum passing score. In almost all the areas, this candidate, the sky blue line, is crossing the 70%, is also often crossing the -- dark blue line, that is the 90th percentile of all candidates. In both the papers, I think equity was bad. You must have noted it better. So it means I definitely have to re-look into it. The person who passed, the person who failed, equity is bad. Ethics, there's no sense in speaking about it. Okay, I don't know whether the person did GIPS or not. Trading, monitoring, rebalancing, performance evaluation, and GIPS. Oh, GIPS is over there. Yeah, I tend to remember one thing. There was a student from Jaipur and she was very, very complaining. She said that, sir, you told us that GIPS is a part of portfolio management. You told us, maybe by mistake, I must have. Today I haven't. I never told you. But she said that, sir, you told us GIPS is a part of portfolio management. Therefore, I prepared tactically, which means I deliberately left GIPS because I did the other parts well. And GIPS came, I left it in the exam. But GIPS was counted over here. So, she was saying that GIPS is counted as ethics or whatever. I don't know. She had some confusion about the way topics are counted where. First of all, prepare everything. Na? Second, if somebody is preparing that way, so please look into their results. Okay, this slide will be shared with you. There's nothing unethical. We have removed the candidate's name and ID number. Na? So CFA Institute cannot charge us because this video will be uploaded on YouTube. So they can't do anything with me. So this candidate's result, essay portion, item set portion. Okay, this is the result of the candidate. A few candidates who have shown me results, even in SSEI, have found their essay results was better than item set result. It's not that we Indians are not worth anything. They scored essay much higher as compared to item set. Okay. So just wanting to show you the results. And then the individual topics are there, which is of no use, okay, to share. So I think I've discussed very nicely as to what is CFA level 3 all about. We could not have given more time to it. And whenever repeated questions of this type are there, you'll not get this sincerity coming out of me. As I said, at home you will start fixed income and what? Equity. You may also start with asset allocation because I was doing fixed income and asset allocation at the same time. And behavioral finance was the first topic I started the batch. I'm just sharing everything with you so that you know. Fixed income, when you study, you have to sit upright. Brains. Equity, you can relax. Okay. Behavioral finance, you can lie down while listening. And in class, we will first of all try to cover currency and derivatives. Currency and derivatives. Then we will move into other sections. Okay. I have for you some PDF on the AM session. PDF on the AM session. Now this is the practical part of the AM session. Practical part. I told you, practical part, do you need to worry about presentation? No. What you do in Indian examination, same thing to be done over there. Let's see the question. Did I tell you that any topic you pick up in level 3, you will not say, I'm not understanding anything. So I have not taught you derivative, we are doing a question. It is the best proof of the respect shown by me towards you. MCP manages a pension fund that has $75 million invested in a diversified portfolio of common stocks with a beta of 0.9 relative to the S&P 500 index. Okay, so there is 75 million equity portfolio or bond portfolio. You are also reading with me, na? 75 million invested in a diversified portfolio of common stock. What is common stock? Equity. So it's a diversified equity portfolio with a beta of 0.9 compared to S&P 500. Okay. S&P index is at 992. 6-month S&P 500 futures contract is trading at 1018 and has a beta of 0.95. So what is S and what is F? S is 992. What is F? 1018. It is contango or backwardation. Contango, not that everything is required in the sum. But the more we use our own knowledge, the more confident we'll feel. That's what we do in class. That's our differentiating feature. Okay, we start discussing, we dig everything out. Okay, what was the formula of finding out futures price of an index in level 2? F, the formula for F in level 2, index futures. F equal to S into e power R minus Y into T. Cost of carry model, dividend is added, interest is added, dividend is what? Subtracted. Cost of carry model, futures price is spot price plus interest saved minus dividend forgone. So is that useful in level 3? Yes. Everything that you have done in level 1, level 2 is useful in level 3. Everything. Okay. And it is my duty to ensure that every time when I do questions with you, I make you revise every side aspect which is coming. Okay. So 1018 is 992 into e to the power R minus Y into T. And has a beta of 0.95. What has a beta of 0.95? The S&P futures. Just 1 second. Daily, just come out of the, don't look at the board. Daily, when the market changes, Nifty changes, Nifty futures change in the same direction. Nifty goes up, Nifty futures go up. If you will observe, they never go up by the same percentage, but they go up almost by the same percentage. Please check. Nifty and Nifty futures every day, they go up or come down. They never go up by the same percentage, but they go up or come down approximately by the same percentage, which means that the beta of Nifty futures is almost 1. Beta of Nifty futures is almost 1 because Nifty and Nifty futures are more or less what? Same. The beta of Nifty futures is almost 1. They are saying the beta of S&P futures is 0.95, which means in the exam, if the beta of S&P futures was not given, we are supposed to take it as what? 1. 0.95. The dollar multiplier for the contract is 250. Lot size. If you trade in Nifty, if you trade in S&P futures, your profit and loss shall be the change in price multiplied by 250. Multiplied by 250. 250 times the change in price. Now, let's stop and give some time into the question. If you are having a portfolio of 75 million with a beta of 0.9, if you are having a portfolio of 75 million with a beta of 0.9, can I say that you are indirectly long on S&P itself to the tune of 75 into 0.9? What is 75 into 0.9? What is 75 into 0.9? What is 75 into 0.9, please? 75 into 0.9 is 67.5. So $67.5 million. $67.5 million. You did not understand nicely, therefore I have to repeat. Mr. A has a diversified equity portfolio of 75 million with a beta of 0.9. Mr. B has invested 67.5 in the S&P 500 index. Mr. A has a diversified equity portfolio of 75 million with a beta of 0.9 with respect to S&P 500 index. Mr. B has a long position, has invested 67.5 million in the S&P 500 index. Both Mr. A and B are having the same market risk. Both Mr. A and B are having the same systematic risk, na? Okay. So Mr. A's market exposure is 75 into 0.9, 67.5. Indirectly, Mr. A is long, and MCP is long on S&P index. MCP is long on S&P index to the tune of what? 67.5 million. Later, you are going to have formulas for this. If somebody can understand this without formula, there's the caliber. That has gone into your head that indirectly we are having position on S&P index. If S&P index rises, we will gain. If S&P index falls, we will lose. What is the definition of hedging given by me to you always? Hedging means जिस चीज का डर है उस चीज से फायदा उठाना. Hedging means जिस चीज का डर है उस चीज से फायदा उठाना. What is MCP afraid of? S&P index falling. If S&P index falls, MCP's portfolio will fall. MCP is afraid of the S&P index falling. So to hedge the same, MCP should go short on S&P index futures. It's like S plus F minus. Should go short on S&P index futures to the tune of 67.5 million. If we sell one futures contract, the value is 1018 into 500 into 0.95. If we sell one futures contract, we are taking a short position on S&P of how much? If you are selling one futures contract, you are taking a short position on S&P index of how much? 1018 into 500, no, into 250, sorry. 1018 into 250 into 0.95. 1018 into 250 into 0.95 is okay with you. Just as we did 75 into 0.9. Similarly, I want to take a short position on the S&P index. Okay. So if I'm taking it on the futures is a beta of 0.95. So my short position is 1018 into 250 into 0.95. What is it? 241,775. One contract. But you require a position of 67.5 million. So the number of contracts required is 67.5 million, that is 675 lakhs divided by whatever you have calculated. This will be STO1, na? This both should have been, that should have been STO1, this should have been STO2. So whatever it is, this is gone into the memory and we divide 67.5 million in open form divided by this. Yes, please, what? 279 S&P futures contract sell. 279 S&P futures contract sell. Okay? If you talk about the formula becomes VP into beta P divided by F into M. VP, value of the portfolio, into beta P divided by F into M. What was the value of the portfolio? 75 million. What was the beta of the portfolio? 0.9. 75 into 0.9 divided by, what was futures price? 1018. Sorry, futures price means with the, sorry, I said F into M, I said incomplete. It will be F into M into beta F. What? F into M into beta F. What's the futures price? 1018. What's the multiplier? 250. What's the beta of futures? 0.95. In English language, what's the formula? in the numerator, you have to take the exposure which is supposed to be killed, what you're wanting to hedge. In the denominator, you have to take what is the hedging tool. In the numerator, the exposure which is to be killed. In the denominator, the hedging tool. When you keep on thinking about the formula in different ways, it gets internalized. Okay, what are you wanting to hedge? Sir, 75 into 0.9. And what is the hedging tool? Sir, 1018 into 250 into 0.95. If they would have said, we don't want to completely hedge, but we want to hedge in such a manner that our beta becomes 0.1. We want to hedge such that our beta becomes 0.1. In that case, how much beta you want to kill? 0.8. Because the beta of the portfolio is 0.9, you are wanting the beta to be 0.1. So you want to kill the beta to extend to 0.8. So 75 into 0.8 is the killable amount. 75 into 0.8 is a killable amount divided by the same thing. So now the formula becomes VP into beta T minus beta P. VP into target beta minus existing beta, whole divided by F into M into beta F. Target beta was what? 0.1. Existing beta was what? 0.9. And it's negative. So people are more happy. Oh, minus, we have to sell. And to sell also we don't have to think. So this way, if you prevent yourself from thinking that you don't think, it has to be sold. Correct? Okay. Question. MC Partners expects a market decline. Expects means is afraid of, but does not want to disturb the pension plan assets. Now what does he want to say over there? If you are expecting a market decline, why don't you do something? Sell off all the shares and hold cash. Cash means near cash. You are expecting a market decline, na? So why don't you do something? Sell all the shares and stay in cash. But you know that liquidating the entire portfolio of 75 million, is a very costly exercise. All the shares will have transaction cost, bid-ask spread. When you go to sell each of the shares, there are a lot of trading cost you will incur. Not at all advisable, not efficient at all from a trading perspective, implementation perspective. But futures are very liquid, especially S&P futures, Nifty futures, most liquid thing in the Indian stock market. So selling Nifty futures would be so easy for you. Plus, your view about the market may be just short term, say 10 days. You feel Nimala has done something, now she will do something else, negative, in the next 10 days. So for 10 days you will sell off all the stocks, then after 10 days you will buy all the stocks. The journey from stock to cash and cash to stock will cost you around 5 million. So no matter what happens, the market will be back to 70 million in terms of transaction cost. You don't do that. Futures is more easy. Secondly, one more reason I would not like to do this myself if I was a portfolio manager. I am not holding the S&P 500 index. I am holding a diversified portfolio of shares. Maybe I have tremendous confidence on my stock selection skills. Maybe I have tremendous confidence on my stock selection skills, and therefore I believe that the error term of each of the stocks will be positive. Even though the market falls, my stocks will fall because of the beta effect, but still there will be some unsystematic positive influence and they will not fall according to the 0.9 beta. The 0.9 beta is as per historical estimates. I believe that I will earn alpha. And therefore I would not like to liquidate the portfolio. Maybe. Okay? You know something, if you believe that a stock will unsystematically go up, if you believe while trading a stock will unsystematically go up, but you don't know about the systematic, simple, buy the stock, sell Nifty futures. I'm talking about you trading. If you believe a stock will unsystematically go up, you should buy the stock and sell Nifty futures. Because in that case, what will happen? If Nifty falls, the stock will also fall because of beta effect, but the stock will fall less. based on beta because of alpha factor. Nifty will fall, it will give you gain. The stock will give you a loss. Net there will be a gain. If the stock rises, you lose on the Nifty because you short the Nifty, but the stock will rise more than according to beta. So you will earn because of alpha factor. Okay. The firm determines that it would be best to lower the target beta to 0.8. Okay. So the target beta is 0.8, it's not 0. So how much they want to kill? 0.1. So 0.1 into what? 75 million, 7.5 million divided by that 1018 into 250 into 0.95. Please calculate. 7.5 million. So 75 lakh divided by 1018 into 250 into 0.95. 75 lakh divided by 1018 into 250 into 0.95. Yes, please. 31 contracts sell. Question language. Determine whether MCP should buy or sell futures. If you don't give this answer, your marks are gone because you will be busy about doing the calculation. Therefore, you will forget now. He is asking, determine whether MCP should buy or sell future. It's a written exam. MCP wants to reduce beta, so it should sell futures. You don't have to explain too much. It wants to reduce beta, so it has to sell futures. Answer over. And number of futures contract to use to achieve a target beta of 0.8, you can write 75. Number of futures contract to be sold is 75 into 0.1 divided by 1018 into 250 into 0.95 without writing the formula. You may write the formula Vp into beta t minus beta p divided by f into m into beta f. You may write the formula in the institute's notation. God knows what notation is there. Because I teach so many examinations, I can't remember the notation. Because the institute is not writing Vp into beta t minus beta p, they're writing something else. So who will take all the attention? Okay. So this was an idea of practical which can come in the AM session in, say, derivatives. It was easy for you to understand. Okay. Six months later, you determined how many contracts? 30? 31 contracts. 6 months later, at the futures expiry date, the S&P index is up 5%. We thought it will go down. S&P index has gone up 5%. MCP's portfolio has risen 4.4%. Is it according to the 0.9 beta? 5 into 0.9 is what? 4.5. It has gone up by 4.4% because you know beta is calculated with the help of big data. Does stock market move according to beta? No. It has gone up less. You can't complain that it's wrong. Maybe your concern would not have gone over there. I am discussing it so comprehensively that I am taking you over there. So portfolio has gone up by 4.4%. So 75 million has become how much? Please, 75 into 1.044. 75 million into 1.044. 78.3. STO1. 78.3. Okay. Futures are trading at 1042. We bought futures at 1018, you remember? Index went up, futures went up. So we gained in the future. Sorry, we had sold futures now. We lost in the futures. Please calculate the loss. 1042 minus 1018 equal to into 250 into how many contracts? 31 into 31. 1 lakh? 1,86,000 is how many million? 0.186 million. 0.186 million STO2. RCL1 minus RCL2. RCL1 minus RCL2, how much? 78.11. 78.114. I hope you are okay now. 75 million portfolio earned 4.4%. I calculated that. Futures I lost. I calculated that. So out of the portfolio I deduct the loss on futures. My net, this is STO3. What is this? STO3. Now calculate the portfolio's overall value. We should get marks for the value. RCL3 is an answer. And effective beta. Effective beta What is the formula of beta? Beta of a stock is equal to what? Percentage change in stock return divided by percentage change in market return. Beta of a stock is percentage change in stock return divided by percentage change in market return. Market has gone up by 5%. Portfolio has gone up by how much? Find out. RCL 3 minus 75. RCL 3 minus 75 equal to divide by 75 into 100. RCL 3 minus 75 equal to divide by 75 into 100. How much? 4.15%. So portfolio went up by 5%. Sorry, S&P index went up by 5%. Portfolio went up by 4.15%. So 4.15 by 5. 4.15 by 5. 0.83. Effective beta achieved is 0.83. Effective beta achieved is 0.83. Sir, we did not achieve the beta of 0.8. Yes, we did not. Because those beta 0.9 and all was not respected. Okay? If I do something, I am doing one more calculation with you. S&P index goes up by 5%. Then the language is prove that you achieved an effective beta of 0.8. The question is, S&P index went up by 5%, nothing else written. You prove that you have achieved the beta of what? 0.8. And look, I'll prove it. But in that case, I will use their beta. If index went up by 5%, portfolio went up by 4.5%. Correct? Please do the calculation again. 75 into 1.045. 75 into 1.045. How much? 78 point something STO1. STO1. Now, Nifty futures had beta of what? 0.95. So Nifty futures went up by 5% into 0.95. How much? 5% into 0.95. 4.75%. Please increase 1018 by 4.75%. Please increase 1018 by 4.75%. 1066 point, whatever it is. So that is the value of Nifty futures. Sorry, S&P futures. So 1066 point something minus 1018. Minus 1018 equal to the whole into 250 into 30. The whole into 250 into 30, how much? Oh, into 31, sorry, into 31. What is it? 37? That's how many million? 0.37 something million. 0.37 something million STO2. Loss on futures. RCL1 minus RCL2. RCL1 minus RCL2. 70? 78. 78 minus 75 by 75 into 100. 4% by 5. 4 by 5. 0.8 proved. 0.8 is proved, na? So how can we prove for 0.8? If the beta is not respected, they are changing the portfolio and the futures not by 0.95 and 0.9. I can't prove 0.83, 0.8. So you can just dig inside a sum, which means when we do that, of course, I'll admit that I have not taught the topic nicely that way. We just picked up on the base of the base. But if you go right, left and forth into the topic, you prove it according to this, according to that method, the topic will get inside you and still will practice a number of questions. But here we are not supposed to follow the institute. One thing, we are ahead of those Firangis. This is, when it comes to understanding and numbers, they cannot compete with us. They cannot. They'll write sophisticated formulas, but it's way below our level. Okay? When it comes to a bit of theoretical discussion, now there, we are at a drawback. But here they are giving us an advantage. They don't want English. They're not checking your English ability. You have to just focus on the points. Okay? The STO RCL we were doing is a bit dangerous in the practical portion of the AM paper, I forgot. Because you have to show the calculation. Of course you use it, but you have to show the calculation. Understood? You can't hide the calculation. You have to show the calculation. I'm not doing this question, although I had picked up this question. This is much more difficult. Instead, first of all, I am taking you to showing the theory questions that come in the exam. Private wealth management. This is a past exam question. It would be very knowledge intensive, and it's not possible that you'll be satisfied like you were satisfied in this futures one. Now you will not be satisfied. So because of which I'm just trying to share, this is an IPS question. What question? IPS. I think the staff has made a mistake by removing the heading of the question. The heading of the question read, the question has 4 parts, okay, and it contains on the whole so many points. The directions were given, how many minutes you should spend into the question, okay. So you'll find, what have they asked? Prepare the nominal pre-tax return objective of an investment policy statement for the N-grams. Prepare the nominal pre-tax return objective of an investment policy statement for the N-grams. Show your calculation, 12 marks. This used to be a 1 marks question at level 1. And I mean it. Of course, we had to read through the entire thing to understand it. But that's the status. It's easy, 12 marks. We have to find out the return objective. How much return is required? So you know what they must have said. N-grams have this much portfolio, this much money to invest. They want this much money every year, every month. They want this much money at the end. You have to do what? PV, PMT, FV, CPT, I by Y. Time value of money question. Okay, but the thing is, when you read it, there will be a lot of information given now. So which information to use, which not to use? Pre-tax, they have said. Nominal, inclusive inflation. Of course, there are some, but it is not difficult. It's like a 2-minute exercise for us. Okay, so that maths has to be done, for which you get 12 marks. And I said, practical part, you don't need to worry about presentation. It's the usual way. Characterize the N-grams as below average, average or above average in their ability to take risk. Justify your response with 3 reasons based on the N-gram circumstances. So they have given a template for this question. 3B, there's a template. So in the exam paper you will have this. This is the exam paper you will get. Characterize N-grams as below average, average or above average. Circle 1. So below average or above average. You are supposed to circle. And if you circle below average, you have to give the 3 reasons over here only in this box. Oh no, 3 boxes are given. So 1 reason, 2nd reason, 3rd reason. But do not judge the box size. If the reason is such that it is 1-liner, 1 word, it's okay. For example, as I said, if it's below average, maybe they have a short time horizon. What time horizon? Short time horizon. So below average ability to be a risk. There may be high liquidity requirement. They need regular income from the portfolio. That's also below average. So that could be the reason. Wherever you are not getting a word to explain, now there you will write sentence. Okay. Then 3C question was, select the investor personality type for Jack and Ruth. Okay. So the author, the old author, might have said that there are 4 types of people. Okay, when you meet, you are the investment advisor. When you meet your client now, you classify them into 4 types of people: cautious, methodical, spontaneous, individualist. You can understand some of the names. Cautious, Fattu. Methodical, he's also Fattu only, but it does everything with a reason. No, give me the reason. Spontaneous, Sanki. Okay, individualist. Befikre. That types. So we have not done them. I was not teaching them. But you have to circle that Jack is methodical. Why? Because Jack seeks reasoning or whatever it is. Prepare the constraint section of an IPS for the N-grams. Constraint section is what? TTLLU. So 1 for T, time horizon. The other for T, tax. L, liquidity. L, legal. U, unique. You have to write the word, time horizon, and then do they have short time horizon, long time horizon, single time horizon, multiple time horizon? Usually it is multiple, till retirement and then after retirement, because the circumstances change. So look, they have calculated the answer. 3B, above average. Now they have written 5 explanations. Now this is what you are supposed to be careful about. This is just a standard answer to teach you the knowledge. You are not supposed to write the 5 reasons. You are supposed to write how many? 3. If you write 5 and the second one is wrong, your marks are gone. So standard answer with the CFA Institute are not benchmark. They are for preparing better answers. Okay. So along with the class, these slides will be shared with you. So you'll be shared with today with one PPT slides which I showed to know the syllabus and everything I had written, and the other is the PDF. Okay, the PDF will contain the derivative question and this question. The derivative question you can practice again. If you are able to practice again and you are able to apply your brain, you will really like it. Because we are going to go into derivatives and all now. Correct? So I will stop over here. I've given you all idea and we are going to start with currency management from the next class. Okay, we'll start with currency management from the next class. Due to some, I think currency management book you all have received. Currency, but derivatives book you have not received, no? Derivatives, yeah. And even the currency management book that you have received, since I was not getting time, I prepared it for the old author. Old core. Actually, the author is same. The author is same in currency management, but they have written significant changes. They have written, I was just checking it out before the class. They have written significant changes in currency management, although the author is same. I have not checked the same, what are the changes and all that. So I will not take the class tomorrow. I will start it from Saturday. Okay? So we'll start from Saturday. You know the timings, na? Have the timing come in? Saturday, it is at what? 5 p.m. and Sunday, it is 1 p.m. Okay? So we are having 2 classes, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday 5 p.m. and Sunday 1 p.m. Usually, at least on Saturday, when we start the topics, we'll be having classes maybe of that type wherein we take a break in 1 hour 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes break, and then 1 hour 20 minutes we stretch again. So the half an hour, the class length will be increased because of taking that break. Okay?